All right, we should be live and recording, everyone. So hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you guys are having a great week. Yeah, a little bit of a delay on today's live video by a couple of days. Just have been honestly just crazy busy the past week and a half. Just so much going on behind the scenes with I Thrive Nutrition and Fitness, my coaching company. Um, and I'm really excited to share a lot of stuff, but can't quite yet, not quite ready yet, but have been working tirelessly all week to just try to get this stuff ready as soon as possible. Just the client roster, the community we have here has just continued to grow and grow and grow, and I can't be, any more grateful. And have had a lot of referrals this month, even last month too, which is like one of my favorite ways to sign on new clients are from client referrals for a couple of reasons. One is because every time a new client signs on and joins our community from a referral, one, it shows that like we're doing the right things and we're helping people and people are happy and they're seeing results, right? Because if we didn't get any referrals at all, then it probably means that current clients aren't necessarily happy with, what they're getting, the results they're getting and all that their experience. So it's always reassuring as like a business owner and a coach to get referrals because it's like, hey, okay, like people are happy, right? Another reason why referrals make me so happy too is because it's really cool when a lot of clients are like know each other personally and they are in our community, doing the thing, doing one-on-one coaching together, interacting in the client group chat, and also interacting like outside in their personal lives, talking about the program together too and everything. And it makes it pretty fun for them to be able to like talk to somebody that they know personally about what they're currently experiencing, you both sharing some of the same struggles with this and everything, and it helps to really build a really nice community around things. And I feel like we have like so many clients in the Sandusky area, so many clients in the Mansfield area now, and it just continues to grow. And we've had a couple of other new clients in the past couple of months who have signed on from someplace like across the country almost, and they all know each other, and it's just really cool. So I'm excited for our community to just continue growing, our one-on-one client community, and probably growing even further once we kind of get into the other announcements that are going to be coming pretty soon. Other updates. I am about a week into my fat loss phase. So I started a fat loss phase, and this has been the first fat loss phase that I have done since, I don't even know. I did a little one, I guess, a short one in October ish, leading into November. So I did do a short one for probably a couple of months, I think from September, October, but it's been since October for sure, or I guess November, the beginning of November, since I've been in the fat loss phase, which is puts us at 4 months. And even that fat loss phase I did then wasn't very long. And I spent most of the summer and most of the spring just kind of eating at maintenance or even slightly above to build more muscle. So have taken a pretty long break from like any kind of longer fat loss phase. So it's kind of exciting to get into that realm and to kind of be in the trenches with my clients a little bit more. Like if you're a one-on-one client, you've probably seen in the group chat, I'm sending like selfies at like 9 p.m. of me on my walking pad, getting my steps in to make sure I hit those. Just sharing, the struggles of being in a fat loss phase that sometimes are there. And obviously, like if you are a one-on-one client, you probably know that the fat loss phases are a lot easier than any other diet you've probably tried in the past. But getting your steps in sometimes when you have a little bit, you have 1,000 extra steps you need to hit to reach that step goal, and it's 9 p.m. Sometimes it sucks getting them in. So it's really cool to have a community to kind of share that struggle with. But it's been cool being in a fat loss phase. It's going really well over the past week. Definitely. A little hungrier than what I was when I was eating at my maintenance calorie level, but that's kind of expected. But that's why we have the maintenance breaks, the higher calorie days sprinkled in there to make it way more enjoyable. So, but that's going well. Training, powerlifting after my meet that I had in January. That's going pretty well too. Obviously, feeling a little um, they call it like the post meet blues, where like you get these heightened emotions like leading into the powerlifting meet because you're like, oh man, I can't wait to compete. I can't wait to step on the platform. And then you step on the platform, get all of the hype of hitting your 1 rep maxes, or hitting your lifts on squat, bench, and deadlift, hitting your PRs and all that, and then it all just kind of like dies down afterwards. And um, uh, your strength also like regresses a little bit. It goes backwards a little bit because you're peaking for this very specific day. And then after that, you kind of go back to the drawing board, and you go back to maybe doing a little bit higher reps. So your 1 rep max strength isn't quite there. So dealing with a little bit of that, of just training, feeling not as exciting, but just because something's not exciting doesn't mean you can't, or doesn't mean like you don't need to get it done, right? So still check off the box, still get it done, but that is going well. And the goal with this fat loss phase, just maintain as much strength as possible. If maybe gain a little bit of strength too, that would be nice. But I know with like my fat loss goal, I'm probably going to lose about 15-ish pounds, maybe slightly more by summer. We'll kind of see. But 15 is kind of like the ballpark range I have in my head. And with a 15-pound decrease in my body weight, where I'm at right now with my experience level with lifting, you know, making huge strength gains probably won't be on the table, but we're just going to show up and try to push for it. So those are just kind of like some updates with the coaching, with our company, with my own like training, my own journey and everything. And I like to share that stuff because I want my clients and you in the group or anybody listening to know that I'm doing this stuff too. I'm not just preaching this stuff, but then just kind of sitting back and not tracking my food myself, or not hitting my steps myself, or not hitting my workouts myself. Like, I'm in there with you all and kind of experience those same struggles too. So I was thinking about what kind of topic to talk about today. And to be honest, I'm very mentally trained from this whole week. Just been super busy. And we got 3 new clients started this week with their starting goals. And that's always a little bit more of a work heavy week because I'm really looking through their forms, analyzing where they're currently at, figuring out the perfect starting point for them, and so on. So it's always a little bit busier those weeks too. But super pumped, to get those 3 started. But I've had some other calls with clients, or not clients, but with potential clients this week. And a couple of people decided, not to join one-on-one coaching. And that's okay. Not everybody that I end up getting on a call with or talking with, one-on-one coaching is something that's right for them, or maybe they feel is feasible at the time, or this and that. And that's okay. But it just got me thinking, not these people specifically, but I've had a lot of calls with people in my years of coaching, my 7 or 8 years of doing one-on-one coaching now, where like I think sometimes people are afraid to take their leap, whether it's with coaching or even just starting your journey on your own. Like, maybe you are like, I don't really want coaching, but like I just want to start my own journey on my own and see progress. And I talk with a lot of people, and I find that it's just sometimes there's this fear of getting started that pushes you to say no to, whether it's no to coaching or it's no to just getting started at all. And you think, oh, like, it's not really the right time. I have this going on. February is a busy month. March is a busy month. Like, maybe I'll just wait. Or maybe even like get on a call and you decide, financially, I don't know if it's the right time, and you kind of fall back on that. And I totally get if it's something where like financially you literally can't do it, but I think sometimes you have the resources to do it, but you try to like you play this mental gymnastics to convince yourself that, oh, there are all these reasons why this won't go right now. And it's hard to part ways financially with money, right? Or invest in yourself too. It's hard to not feel guilty about that as well, especially if you're a mom, you have kids, you're a wife, you have a family, all of this. I find like that demographic, you guys feel the most guilty when you spend money on yourselves, especially when it's something that's not like tangible. Like, if you're buying clothes for yourself, something that you can actually physically grab, maybe you don't feel as bad because you're like, well, I'm going to wear this every day, so I know like I'm going to get something out of it. Whereas with coaching, it's not something you can tangibly grab. It's something that works slowly over time, changing your mindset, changing how you think about things, changing your progress, changing your mood, changing your body, changing your confidence, right? And those are all things that we want to see and get out of this, but it's not something you can actually grab a hold of until you've actually put in the work over time with coaching to see the end result. So I find it's tough to take that leap in that context, and I get it. It can be scary, but the way I think about it is, if you're somebody who you find financially really can do it, if you got resourceful, if you felt it was a priority to you, and if you felt like it was something that you really needed, but you were just saying no out of fear. Um, do you want to, like, you basically have two options. Are you going to um, part ways with that money, right, to then invest in a coach and get to where you want to go in a certain time frame and actually start feeling your best and feeling confident and seeing progress, like all of the one-on-one clients that I post about all the time? Or are you wanting to just part ways with time, right? Because the thing that you're doing when you invest in a coach is, sure, you're getting a plan, sure, you are getting direction, sure, you are getting results, but the big thing that you are paying for is saved time. You are saving yourself hours and hours and hours of trying so many different diets that don't work, trying so many different exercise plans that don't work, trying so many Google searches to try to find the secret answer to losing weight that don't work. You're saving yourself so many hours and days and weeks and months of trying these things that don't work at all, or they just work in the short term and then lead to rebound afterwards. Like you It's easy to think about the like tangible stuff that you can physically grab, like, okay, here's my workout program, here's my meal plan or whatever, but what you really need to think about is, like, you are trading dollars for time and time wasted. Because if you're listening to this and you're in this group and you've struggled with losing weight for a long time, you probably could think back to all of the different diets you've tried, all the different workouts you've done that weren't effective, all the hours you spent trying to Google search how to lose weight effectively. And if you added up those hours all together, and those days, weeks, months, and everything that you've wasted doing that kind of stuff, and then took the investment of coaching and divided it by that many hours, you would probably see, wow, like, it really isn't like that big of a cost for how many hours I've wasted trying to figure this out on my own. And that's not even factoring how many hours you likely will waste trying to figure it out on your own in the future if you don't do something like this. Like, if you continue to just try to hammer it home, like almost trying to stick a square peg in a round hole over and over and over, because maybe you're being stubborn, right? Maybe you've always been able to figure everything out yourself, and this weight loss thing is like the one thing that you haven't been able to, and you're like, I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm going to be that success story who just gritted my way to my weight loss, and you keep doing that. Um, maybe eventually you do get there on your own, and maybe eventually you do become this, success story in your head of being able to do this all by yourself. But the chances of that are pretty slim. And unless you're willing to invest hours and hours and hours, not like financially invest, but just hours of your time into researching this stuff, trying all of this stuff, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, listening to these podcasts where these researchers are talking about actually the right way to lose weight, then it's probably not going to happen. And if you're okay with that, like, downside, then, make that decision, and that's okay. But if you want to look back 6 months from now or a year from now and or 2 years from now, and you want to look back and think, I made the absolute most out of these past 6 months or this past year or these past 2 years, and I made the most amount of progress possible because I wasn't afraid to ask for help. I wasn't afraid to invest in myself. I wasn't afraid to be resourceful and find a way to do something like a coaching program like this. That way I can make the most amount of progress and step out of things 2 years later, a year later, 6 months later, with so much knowledge that I've picked up along the way, on top of losing 20, 30, 40 pounds and being able to keep it off for good. Um, and I don't know any client I have ever had who has took the leap, invested into coaching, and has showed up for themselves, has showed up within the program, not being perfect, but just showed up consistently and put in, 80%, 85% effort, and has gotten to the end of the road and have thought, wow, I regret doing that. And has thought, wow, that actually really wasn't worth it. Can't name one client who has experienced that. And and I don't just say that just for me. And this, I don't want this to be about my program, by the way. I don't want this to be about my coaching. I just want this to be about getting help in general and getting help from a good coach who is qualified, who's educated, who knows what they're doing, who has so many testimonials and so many client transformations to back it up to, and has so many clients who can say, really good things about the program consistently and constantly. And that might not be me. That might not be me. That might not be my company. That might be somebody else. Because I know and I've seen so many people struggle on their own for years and years and years and years and years. And I've seen people who have decided, I need to just do it on my own. And then 5 years later, they're in the same spot they were 5 years ago when I talked to them. And then they regretted so much not investing in coaching when they did. I have one client who always talks about, like, she had my card in her purse for a year until she finally joined. And now she's, 6 months, a year into coaching. And every time on her check-in form, she always talks about how she regrets holding my card in her purse for that long. And like I said, I don't want this to be about me. Could be another coach who's really great at what they do. But we need to just ditch this mindset of, I should be able to figure this out on my own. Because if you could, you probably would have by now. And that's not a knock on you. It's just, this is a whole like area and level of expertise that if you haven't gone to school for and you haven't educated yourself in, you haven't experienced, then you just probably don't know. Like, if I were to go and try to fix my car, I would have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I am terrible with cars. I can maybe name like 5 car parts off the top of my head, and I'm not even going to try to do it on this podcast or this video and embarrass myself. But like, I couldn't do that, no matter how hard I tried, unless I invested hours and hours and hours of my time into doing that. But I don't want to have to do that. And I willing to bet you probably don't want to have to do that too. You want someone else who's already invested the hours and time to learn all this stuff, to give you the shortcut to learning this stuff and learning what actually matters and knowing the simple things that you can do to make the most amount of progress without having to overhaul your complete life. I forget what point I was making before I just went on that rant about the cars. But if you would have been able to do it on your own, there's a good chance you probably would have done it by now. And 5 years from now, there will kind of be two different yous that might exist. One is the one who wasn't afraid to ask for help, who realized, man, like, this is an investment, but I am spending money on quite a few things that aren't really serving me. They aren't really serving my life. They aren't really making me better. And I can get resourceful and find a way, to do this, because my health and my overall life is important to me long term. And you do that. And 5 years later, you look back and you're feeling your best and you're physically in the best shape that you've ever been. You have all the knowledge and skills and tools now to go and do it on your own for years and years after that. You have the knowledge, skills, and tools to help your kids get in better shape or stay in shape or get in shape in general themselves. You have the tools to maybe help your spouse. You have the tools to maybe help friends, family, and give good advice. You have the tools or the confidence to just be, like, show up as your best possible self and inspire others around you to start their journey too. That's like one version of you that absolutely can exist. And there's another version of you who gave into the fear, who gave into the self-doubt, who gave into the thoughts of, oh, like, no, I'm selfish if I do invest in myself. And you said no, even though you could have. And 5 years later, you're still in the same spot you are now, if not worse. You don't feel comfortable in your own skin. You're tired, you're sluggish, you don't have the energy to play with your kids or play with your grandkids. It hurts walking up the stairs. And then you feel like, wow, man, it really feels too late in my life to make a change. Even though then it wouldn't be too late. It's never too late, but you feel that way. So those are kind of the two different paths that could be you. And you kind of have the choice of like, what choices or what change do you want to make or do you not want to make? And the financial thing is always a really easy out and a really easy excuse to make, because it's easy for us to justify it in our head of, oh, like this isn't feasible for me. I can't do it. And sometimes that is the case, like I said. So I'm not trying to put anyone down there, but I have been in moments where financially things were, really tough, but something was really important to me and I found a way to be resourceful and make it happen. And it was the best thing I've ever did. Like I've invested in so many, like business coaches in the beginning of when I was first starting my business that I didn't actually have the money for at the time. And I only had the money for the first payment to make. And I found a way to make it happen because this is what I wanted to do with my life. And now I'm able to do it, and we're continuing to grow. So I know this was kind of like all over the place, this talk, but just some real feelings I was having, some real thoughts. But like I said, some really awesome announcements coming soon for iThrive Nutrition and Fitness. A lot of growth coming, and I can't wait. And I know like 2025 is going to be literally the best year yet. So that's it for today. Appreciate you all, and I will see you guys in the next one.